Okay, so this is just an incredible story of creative collaboration. It's a journey that starts with a really simple, familiar problem that I think most of us face. But believe me, it ends with a blueprint for an entire universe.
It all kicks off with a feeling we all know, right? That sense of digital chaos. You've got thoughts and ideas scattered all over the place, and you just ask yourself this one simple question. How in the world do I organize my notes and my thoughts on this device that I use constantly? It really just starts with that small, practical problem, just trying to bring some kind of order to all that digital noise. But what if that tiny problem, that little seed of an idea, contained the potential for something massive? Well, this is the story of how that simple question blossoms into an ambitious, multi-year roadmap for something, well, something truly extraordinary.
So, where does a journey like this even begin? Well, the first step, from chaos to clarity, isn't about adding more complexity. It's actually the opposite. It's about cutting through all the noise and overwhelming advice to find a simple, clear path forward.
You know, when you start a new project, you're so often told to learn these professional-grade tools, right? Like VS Code or designing complex databases. But as you can see here, that's just overwhelming advice. It's a classic trap that honestly leads to not doing anything at all. The real first step is way simpler. Just choosing a simple, actionable plan.
In fact, all you really need to get started are two free apps on your phone. First, the official GitHub app. Think of it as the central home for your project, a place where you can see all your files. And then there's Git Journal. That becomes your digital notebook, the place you can write, edit, and it syncs everything perfectly back to its home on GitHub. Simple. Now, this approach also unlocks a really powerful visual-first way of working. Instead of getting lost in endless text, you can use a free online tool like Mermaid.live. It's like a creative playground where you can draft and visualize your ideas as diagrams in real time. And once you've got it just right, you just copy the code and save it to its permanent home on GitHub, which then magically renders the diagram for you. Okay, with those basic tools in place, we can now move to the philosophy that really unlocks this entire vision. This section, Vibe Planning, is all about the mindset behind the project, and it's a concept that shifts our focus from the how to the why. So this process is called vibe planning. You can think of it as the architectural brainstorming phase. It's all about focusing on the overall feel, the direction, that high-level vision before you get bogged down in all the rigid details and specifics. It's kind of an incubation phase that makes sure your actions are always purposeful. This approach lets you design this grand vision, a cathedral, right? While staying completely focused on the immediate task at hand. The source material puts it perfectly. This is the blueprint for the cathedral we're building. Focus on laying the first foundation stone. And it's exactly this mindset that gives birth to the whole concept of the digital boss. So what is the digital boss? Well, it's this high-level automation idea where you take an old, repurposed Android phone and it becomes a 24/7 director. This little device becomes the always-on heart of your entire system, running scripts, managing other devices, all for virtually no cost. It's brilliant.
And now, the project takes a really fascinating leap. The digital blueprint starts to inspire a physical one. In this section, the micro garage factory, we see how the whole thing moves from the world of software into the tangible world of hardware and robotics.
So, the core of this physical lab relies on two key collaborators. And they're not competitors, they're a team. You've got the Raspberry Pi, that's the brain. It's a tiny, full-featured computer for all the complex logic and orchestration. It's the digital boss made real. Then you have the Arduino, and that's the nerves. A simple little microcontroller that is amazing at reliable physical tasks like controlling motors and reading sensors.
Now, what's crucial here is that building this system doesn't require a ton of expensive equipment. It's a micro garage ecosystem, and it's built on ultra-cheap electronics. And in this world, a low cost of failure is actually a feature, not a bug. It encourages you to experiment fearlessly, because frying a $2 sensor is a cheap lesson, not some frustrating, expensive setback.
And this brings us to the system's true strength. As this chart shows, if you measure its raw number crunching power, yeah, it's pretty low. But its systemic power, it's off the charts. The real value isn't in its speed, but in its ability to be this persistent team of assistants, orchestrating tasks for you 24/7. Okay, so with the physical lab established, the project makes another critical pivot. In this section, we're going to see how it evolves from just a personal hobby into a self-funding R&D lab, a totally self-sustaining enterprise with a really unique business model.
The goal completely shifts from just making things to perfecting the process of making things. The meta product isn't the physical object you might 3D print. No, it's the hyper-efficient, data-rich, and constantly improving manufacturing process itself. That's the real product.
And this quote on the slide just nails it. You're building the Formula One team of micro garage R&D. Think about it. A normal car factory mass produces thousands of cars. An F1 team uses immense data and rapid prototyping to produce just one car, but it's at the absolute pinnacle of performance. This project? It's building the F1 team.
And this whole ambitious vision is built on a very clear multi-year roadmap. It starts right now with the foundation of digital organization. In a few months, it moves to the first physical prototype. Within a year, the goal is a self-funding loop, where the lab actually generates revenue to pay for its own upgrades. And then, years from now, it becomes an R&D specialist, selling its expertise, not just its products.
And all of this leads to the final, ultimate zoom out. Section 5, the sentient factory, describes the project's most ambitious evolution, where the system is designed to become way more than just a tool. The long-term vision, the final phase of this absolutely incredible roadmap, it all culminates in creating a system that can actually think for itself, a self-aware factory.
So what does that even mean? It means training a specialized on-site AI on the unique data generated by your own sensors and machines. This AI becomes a master craftsman that understands all the little quirks of your tools better than any external system ever could. You scale up to a pole barn microfactory that is also a data farm where the most valuable product you create is the intelligence itself.
It's just such a powerful reminder that every grand vision, from a personal project all the way up to a sentient factory, begins with a single, purposeful step. Remember, this whole thing started with a simple question about organizing notes. So the final question is for you. What blueprint are you vibe planning?